Hello everyone, welcome back to another brand new video. And today I will be talking about Big Brother, my favorite summer reality TV show. Last season, Big Brother introduced a brand new competition into the game, the AI Arena. And I think that this competition single-handedly breaks the game of Big Brother, making it significantly worse, and I'm here to tell you why. So let's just jump right into it. First, let's talk about the AI Arena, or what is now known as the BB Blockbuster, and break down what it changes from the original Big Brother format. Normally, a week begins with the HOH competition. That player wins safety for the week and the ability to make the nominations for eviction, nominating 2 house guests. Then the HOH, the 2 nominated house guests, and 3 house guests selected by random draw compete in the Power of Veto competition. The Power of Veto can be used to save one of the nominees, and if used, the HOH will have to name a replacement. Then on Thursday, the House votes to evict one of the 2 remaining house guests on the block. Now with the BB Blockbuster involved, the format changes. The week begins with the HOH competition. The player wins safety for the week and the ability to make the nominations for eviction, this time nominating 3 house guests. Then, the HOH, the 3 nominated house guests, and 2 house guests selected by random draw compete in the Power of Veto competition. The Power of Veto can be used to save one of the nominees, and if used, the HOH will have to name a replacement. Now we go to Thursday, where the 3 evicted house guests compete in the BB Blockbuster competition, and whichever house guest wins immediately becomes safe and removes themselves from the block. We move to the vote and eviction, where the House votes out one of the 2 remaining nominated house guests. Now that we understand how the format has changed with the inclusion of the BB Blockbuster, let's talk about how I believe it affects the game in a negative way. First things first, the BB Blockbuster prevents the back door. A common strategy implemented to get rid of your target easily, the back door consisted of nominating 2 pawns. This increases the likelihood that your target doesn't play in the veto competition and earn safety for themselves, because now they can only be selected for the veto by random draw. Then, ensure the veto gets used and nominate your target, and there's really nothing they can do. However, now, that strategy isn't possible anymore. The target you intend to backdoor can just win the BB Blockbuster competition and remove themselves on eviction night. The backdoor is an effective strategy when used against comp beasts, taking away their means of competing for safety. Now, getting rid of comp beasts is 10 times harder, because they have 2 means of safety before eviction instead of the normal 1 or 0 with the backdoor. So why even nominate comp beasts anymore? If they have 2 chances of safety and earn 1 to survive, they'll likely be targeting you if they win the next HOH. This week of Big Brother 27 is the perfect example. The house target Keanu won the veto. The HOH Lauren should and would nominate Ashley for eviction, somebody bad for her game. But because Ashley has even the possibility of winning Blockbuster and staying in the house, Lauren chickens out and nominates Adrian instead. The BB Blockbuster ultimately favors comp beasts. The BB Blockbuster almost ensures that comp beasts will make and dominate the jury phase of the game. Let's look at Mackenzie from Big Brother 26. She won 2 AI arenas, and if she hadn't won those 2 AI arenas, she would have gone home both times. Now, with those 2 foiled attempts to get Mackenzie out, she makes the jury phase of the game, and proceeds to win 8 of the 12 comps she competes in during that phase of the game. That is a 66% success rate of competition wins, and without the AI Arena, it would have never happened. If Mackenzie had ended up voting out Chelsea and winning against Cam, she would have completely steamrolled the jury phase from start to finish. Now, it's time for some math. On top of 2 chances at safety for the week, the veto draw is now heavily skewed in favor of the nominees. It's not a coincidence that Big Brother 26 holds the record for most uses of the veto, and BB 27 is right on track with 4 straight veto uses. With the old format, the HOH would draw a player, and the 2 nominees would each draw a player. If any of them picked the house guest choice chip, they would get to select the house guest to play of their choosing.
House guest choice. I choose Alyssa.
Now, with 3 nominees, only 2 players get randomly selected, and the HOH draws both chips. If they draw the chip of a nominee, they get the house guest choice and select a house guest of their choosing.
Cam.
I choose Joseph.
Let's imagine a 16-player season with the old format. On first draw, there should be 14 chips in play, the 13 other house guests in the house, and the house guest choice chip. Let's say the HOH just draws a regular player. Now, the nominees with the following draws have a 1 out of 13 or 7.6% chance and a 1 out of 12 or 8.3% chance to draw the house guest choice and select somebody they think would play the veto in their favor. Now, let's imagine a 16-player season with the new format. On first draw, there will be 16 chips in play, one for every single house guest in the house. On the HOH's 2 draws, there will be a 3 out of 16 or 18.75% chance and a 3 out of 15 or 20% chance that they draw a nominee who will then pick somebody they think will play the veto in their favor. Also, just take into account that with more nominees competing in the veto competition, that increases the chance a nominee will win it and take themselves off. Previously, the 2 nominees only made up 33% of the playing pool, whereas with 3 nominees, that makes up 50% of the pool. I also believe the BB Blockbuster motivates stagnant gameplay. With the increase from 2 to 3 nominees, on paper that should create more room for more house guests to end up touching the block, making things harder to stay safe. But in execution, we've seen that that isn't the case. Instead, we see the same people hitting the block every week. Last season, we saw Kenny get nominated 3 times in 3 weeks, Tucker hit the block 4 times in 6 weeks, and lastly, Angela and Chemo both hit the block a total of 7 times. Now, this season, we're only 3 weeks in, and 5 different house guests have already been on the block twice. So, why is this happening? Well, with the BB Blockbuster in play, the HOH's power is at an all-time low. The HOH competition is the most important competition of the week. You win guaranteed safety and the power to try and get rid of whoever you want. But with 2 opportunities to earn safety, the success rate of you getting your ideal target out is exponentially lower. The veto competition used to be the HOH's one shot to keep his or her nominations the same, but now the HOH can win the veto, keep noms the same, and the target can just go win the Blockbuster anyway, and the HOH can't do anything about it. With the BB Blockbuster in play, one nominee is guaranteed to survive, and another nominee is guaranteed to survive the vote. Furthermore, as we just established, the veto is now more likely to fall into the hands of a nominee or someone in their favor, so that's a potential 3 people coming off the block each week. So no wonder the HOHs are starting to play scared. When surviving the block has never been easier, making big moves is a riskier play and most won't do it. Typically, HOHs early on find it easier to nominate somebody who has been previously nominated, so with 3 people potentially surviving the previous week, the chances they see the block again are very likely. Let's look at the first 3 weeks of BB 26 and BB 27. In Big Brother 26, 4 house guests were nominated a single time, and 4 house guests were nominated multiple times. 25% of the house saw the block more than once in just 3 weeks. In BB 27, 2 house guests have been nominated a single time, and 5 house guests have been nominated multiple times. Almost 30% of the house has seen the block more than once in just 3 weeks. The BB Blockbuster also creates a unique new scenario for Heartbreak. Let's look at Cedric last season. Cedric ends up going home in week 4 and it's due to some interesting circumstances. First of all, in the 2 nominee format, Quinn just doesn't nominate Cedric this week. However, with the AI arena in play, Quinn nominates an ally, Cedric, because Cedric is good at comps and could potentially defeat the target Tucker in the veto or AI arena. However, Tucker ends up winning the veto. But hey, Mackenzie is the backup target, and she'll go home if she loses the AI arena. Well, Mackenzie wins the AI arena, and Cedric is suddenly sitting on the block as the biggest target and gets blindsided. Terrible move from Quinn even nominating his ally, don't get me wrong. But Cedric only goes home because he's sitting next to these 2 massive compies who snagged both opportunities at safety. Cedric would have won a house vote versus both of them, so the physical game of Tucker and Mackenzie ends up winning out and being more important than Cedric's strategic and social game, and I think that is a massive flaw of the format. Finally, the BB Blockbuster has created these players like Tucker and Kelly that end up volunteering for the block because they think it's fun living life on the edge and trying to save themselves at the last minute, and it's just stupid. We are in a state where people are volunteering for the block because they are so confident in their ability to save themselves with 2 competitions in sight. It's bad gameplay and not fun to watch, and it gets rewarded and incentivized even further every single time they succeed. Well everyone, thank you all for watching me rant about the state of Big Brother. Let me know down below if you think the BB Blockbuster is a long-term positive or negative for the show. Did you agree or disagree with my points in this video? I'd love to hear what you all think. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day.
I really like puzzles, baby! Let's go!